The brand Reese is named after Harry Burnett H.B. Reese, who created it. In 1928, he produced the first of his delectable cups. But before he ever thought of creating candy, he had to take on a variety of tasks in order to try to support his 16 children. You did indeed hear that, right. 16. Harry's path to success was far from straightforward. And he had many challenges to conquer on the road. In 1879, Harry Burnett Reese was born. He was Pennsylvania born, of Welsh and English ancestry, and grew up on a farm. Being the only child, Harry wanted to do everything in his power to support his parents. He also knew how to think outside the box when it came to making money. He began farming the land as a young lad, but shortly after, he started to carve out more lucrative sources of revenue. He began milking cows since it was a quicker way to make money. At the time of his marriage in 1900, Harry was 21 years old. It didn't take long for their small family to grow significantly. Together, the couple had 16 children, 8 sons and 3 daughters. And before long, Harry was finding it increasingly difficult to provide for his expanding family. Harry had always been a real family man, and not only did his mother live with him for the rest of her life, but so did her 2 sisters. It also helped that his wife came from a wealthy family. As you might expect, the house was constantly crowded. During a normal Reese family dinner, at least 20 members of the family would be present, and if friends and family were invited, that number increased to more than 40 people. Even though it was cozy, this also meant that more money was required. Harry would do whatever he could to help his expanding family, but this wasn't enough, and they continued to struggle. Harry then came across a job posting in the newspaper in 1916. Milton Hershey was looking for individuals to oversee his several dairy farms in the Hershey, Pennsylvania, region. Milton was, as you would have guessed, the man who started the renowned Hershey chocolate clan. Henry was recruited to oversee a dairy farm known as the Round Barn after working for Hershey for a year. Since it was an experimental farm, his boss, Milton Hershey, came to see how things were doing every 2 weeks. The farm used brand new milking equipment that was more effective than manual milking but also more expensive. And in 1919, Milton made the decision to shut everything down. It's unclear whether Harry left his job or was dismissed. But this time, we do know that he made a different decision and, rather than counting on others to provide him with a job, he took matters into his own hands by starting a new firm. He created milk chocolate-covered almonds and raisins and marketed them to nearby shops under the name R&R Candy Company. Henry was aware that his company's potential would be enhanced by investing in top-notch production machinery. A year later, he changed the company's name to Superior Chocolate and Confectionery Company and started issuing stock to raise money. Surprisingly, he was able to raise the equivalent of $290,000 in today's dollars. And 40-year-old Harry felt hopeless after his early confectionery company failed, so he grabbed a job at a paper mill since he was under pressure to maintain his many children, and had yet another baby on the way. He subsequently started working 2 jobs, one as a butcher and one canning veggies. He was quite busy, and that is an understatement. But in 1921, he received some excellent news from his wealthy father-in-law. Harry left his 3 jobs and resumed his employment with Hershey. He began working in shipping but was soon elevated to foreman. He did, however, decide to add to the sign's work. He decided to try chocolate again after his first attempt had failed, so he started creating a variety of confectionery goods in his basement. He produced mince, chocolate-dipped almonds, raisins, and hard candy, along with 2 well-known candy bars that he created. All of his masterpieces were covered in Hershey's chocolate, and he always made sure to use fresh ingredients. After a few years, Harry's business was performing far better than anticipated. He was still operating out of his basement, but the demand for his candies was rising as a result of their popularity. Harry started to take the enterprise even more seriously, and for many years, he ran the H.B. Reese candy firm. Although his business was succeeding, it still lacked a big selling item and made pitiful profits. Then, In 1928, everything changed all of a sudden. Harry went on a sales trip to Harrisburg 5 years after starting his business. He struck up a conversation with a store owner, who revealed that maintaining a supply of chocolate-covered peanut butter candies was difficult. The candy was flying off the shelves faster than the store owner could resupply it to keep up with demand, and as a result, he was unable to continue satisfying the needs of his clients. Harry was asked if he could assist, perhaps he could create something similar. Harry didn't need to second-guess himself and said yes right away. After leaving the shop, he went right back and bought a huge 50-pound can of peanut butter. He hurried home and started experimenting by drizzling chocolate over a peanut butter ball. Although the creation was delectable, making the balls on a large scale would have been next to impossible. Chocolate-covered peanut butter cups had been popular for some time by that point. Although they were offered for sale in stores as early as 1907, they had not yet achieved great popularity. They were merely one of the numerous candies available at pharmacies, but this was about to change to guarantee that he produced the nicest cups in the area. Harry started producing his own peanut butter, and the distinctive manner in which he roasted the peanuts until they were practically charred was one of the things that made his cup so good. Harry just referred to his cups as penny cups or peanut butter cups because they were only 1 penny each. People adored the delectable sweet and salty goodies, and they were a huge hit right away. Harry started selling $5 cartons to nearby stores not long after that. And by 1935, business was booming. Encouraged by his success, he paid off all of his obligations and left his factory position at the Hershey Company. Harry was finally able to fully focus on his own business and felt ready to go out on his own to start making candy for a living. After several years of operation, World War II broke out, bringing with it acute supply shortages and difficult economic times. Sugar was rationed when the US entered the war, and despite Milton Hershey, Harry's previous boss, lending him some sugar, it wasn't enough in a desperate bid to rescue his business. Harry stopped selling his other goods and concentrated only on the peanut butter cup. After all, it was his best-selling item. Additionally, it was the candy that required the least quantity of sugar to be consumed. It would end up being the wisest choice he had ever made. As Harry's business flourished, other candy manufacturers started making their own cups as well. Harry's cups began gaining popularity quickly in spite of the competition, and he continued to succeed. Indeed, everything was going so well that he made the decision to construct a sizable factory in Hershey. The structure was completed in 1957. Harry, though, sadly, did not live to witness it firsthand. Just a few days before his 77th birthday, he passed away a few months earlier from a heart attack. Harry's passing caused upheaval throughout the organization. He had bequeathed the company to his 6 surviving sons rather than his daughters, and those guys didn't exactly get along. The company ultimately joined the modern era with an automated production line as Harry's children fought for control. Reese's sales increased to nearly $15 million annually by the late 1950s, when it had established itself as a reputable national brand. But the brothers persisted in their conflict. The younger brothers preferred to keep the business within the family, while the eldest wanted to sell it. When Hershey learned of the reports of a potential resale, they immediately got in touch. The companies were in the same location, so a merger seemed logical. Their founders were close friends, and they shared the same chocolate. So Harry's son finally agreed to sell the family business to Hershey after 7 long years of arguments and fighting. With the transaction, the sons acquired 666,000 shares of Hershey's stock, which at the time had a market value of close to $24 million, and around a 5% stake in the Hershey Corporation. In today's dollars, that amounts to more than $200 million. And when you consider that Hershey is currently worth more than $20 billion, all you can do is hope that the sons will eventually give their valuable stock to their own children. Reese's peanut butter cups had been Hershey's best-selling item by 1969. More than 300 million cups are sold each year. Reese cups became not only Hershey's top product but also the best-selling candy in the entire US after the legendary "You Got Peanut Butter on My Chocolate" ad campaign was introduced in the early 1970s. Millions of people still like Reese's peanut butter cups each year. Under Hershey's, the delectable cups have flourished and undergone numerous iterations throughout the years. Enter any supermarket in the United States. Reese's products are everywhere, including big cups, miniatures, and minis in tastes including dark chocolate, white chocolate, marshmallow, caramel, and hazelnut cream. Another option is Reese's cookies. No matter how popular the Reese brand may be, Reese peanut butter cups continue to rank first outside of the US, whether they be Reese Bits or Reese Puff cereal. Many other people also adore them. That's most likely how HB had envisioned his business to be. Did you know that there is a backstory to these delicious cups? And do you possess one? If you have a company in mind that you'd like us to cover next, mention it in the comments and let us know. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to visit our channel for more motivational business films.